Hi there. You know, I was reading an article in the paper yesterday. It got me to thinking. Glenn Beck, he claims that Michelle Obama has a personal staff of 43 people, while Nancy Reagan, on the other hand, got by with a staff of only 3. He was a little off on his figures, but that's to be expected. Unless you have shit for brains, you know better than to trust Glenn Beck for facts. Actually, Michelle Obama has a staff of about 25 people, which is about the same as what Laura Bush had. And Nancy, well, she probably had about 15 people at any given time. And Hillary, well, she had 13 people in 1993, but by 2000 that was up to 19 people. I figure she probably needed a few extra hands to help her keep tabs on Bill. But anyway, doesn't really matter. I don't care what kind of staff the First Lady has. Really, I'm more concerned with what's the appropriate role for the First Lady to play. And here's what I think. The First Lady should exemplify the gender role that her party espouses. In other words, for a Republican First Lady, she should stay home, mind the kids, look after the house, because that's what a good conservative woman does, right? And, you know, probably save us a little bit of money if Laura had got up out of the fart sack and cooked old Georgie some eggs every day and then spent the rest of her time supervising the housekeeping staff at the White House. You know, would have been cheaper than having her fly around and meet dignitaries or whatever. And as for a Democrat First Lady, well, I guess she should probably go out and get a job, you know. She shouldn't ride her husband's coattails. Doesn't matter if he is the president. She should, you know, make her own way. She should be independent. And, of course, I'd have to rethink that whole thing if Sarah Palin got elected, wouldn't I? Well, perish the thought, but if it did happen, what would First Dude Todd do? Well, there again, let's think of the appropriate gender role. You know, the Palins, they're self-reliant, can-do people, and so maybe Todd could slip over to the Chesapeake Bay, do a little fishing. Maybe there's a game preserve around there someplace where he could do a little hunting, you know, bring back the food. Maybe he could farm a plot out on the White House lawn and grow vegetables. Then they could make the White House self-sufficient. They wouldn't have to depend on the government for their food, you know. Of course, if you're a true conservative, that's all a moot point, isn't it? Because if you're a true conservative, you don't want Sarah Palin in the White House. You don't even want her to vote. Because, let's face it, that women's suffrage, that was a progressive era legislation. And if you watch Glenn Beck, you know that progressive era legislation was evil. So, Sarah Palin, she ought to just get back in the kitchen and shut her stupid mouth. If you don't agree with me on anything else I've said today, you probably agree with me on that, right?